The Light of Lakewood, a true-to-life story. The night was draped in shadows, and in Houston's cool breeze, a voice echoed, a voice that stitched together thousands of hearts, a voice that gave hope, spreading warmth like an invisible embrace. Lakewood Church's light stood like a glowing chandelier in the city's deep darkness. This is the story behind that light, of hidden struggles, smiles that concealed sorrow, and hearts that longed for peace. Scene 1, the beginning, hope and struggle. Amina was just 19 when she arrived in America from Pakistan. Her family carried a fragile dream. They had flown through Qatar to Houston, hoping for a fresh start. Her father, Khalil Ahmed, once a materials engineer back home, now worked the night shift in a noisy factory. Her younger brother, Hassan, still in school, clung to dreams bigger than the cramped apartment they called home. The first night she saw Lakewood Church wasn't planned. They were walking past when a warm glow spilled out from the open doors. The air was alive, music swelling, voices singing in harmony, strangers greeting each other with smiles and handshakes. Amina paused. It was the first time in America she felt home. Scene 2, the web of characters. Inside the church, 3 people would change Amina's life: Pastor Williams, middle-aged, kind-eyed, and with a voice that carried both strength and gentleness. He wasn't just a preacher, he was a listener, someone who believed that hope was as real as bread on a hungry table. Maria, a Latina mother raising her teenage son, Joe. She came every week, praying with trembling hands for him to escape the grip of a street gang that had already claimed too many young lives in her neighborhood. Derek, a former inmate trying to rebuild his life. The church had been his second chance, and now he spent his days volunteering, setting up chairs, handing out coffee, anything to keep himself close to the light. Amina sat quietly at the back that first Sunday. Hassan, seated beside her, leaned over and whispered in Urdu, asking for help reading the English hymn on the screen. The moment tugged at her heart, their two worlds colliding, the old language and the new. Later, Pastor Williams found her and asked gently, "How long have you been in Houston?" When she told him, he smiled. "You're exactly where you need to be. Sometimes, we don't find the light finds us." Scene 3, the twist: crime, love, and redemption. One night, the glow of the church was dimmed by a commotion outside. Police lights flashed against the building's walls. Maria's worst fear had come true. Joe had been caught in the middle of a gang dispute. She rushed to Pastor Williams, her voice shaking, "My boy, they'll take him away." Derek stepped forward. He knew this world too well: the violence, the silence, the mistakes you couldn't undo. "If the church gave me a second chance," he said, "I'll make sure that kid gets his." That week, Derek put himself on the line, speaking to old contacts, convincing Joe to testify against the gang leaders, protecting him from retaliation. It was risky, but it worked. The charges against Joe were dropped, and he returned to school. Maria cried in Pastor Williams' office, whispering, "God didn't just answer my prayer, he sent me an army." Scene 4, peace, love, and finding yourself. Weeks turned into months. Amina started a small class at the church, teaching Urdu reading to immigrant kids and offering emotional support to those struggling to adjust to America. Hassan became her little helper, carrying books and handing out pencils. Maria, once timid and quiet, began sharing her testimony during Sunday services. "I thought I'd lose my son," she said one morning, her voice breaking. "But this church didn't just save him, it saved me." Derek became a mentor for troubled youth, telling them in raw, unpolished words what prison really took from a man. and how real faith could give it back. One evening, Amina found herself walking with Pastor Williams in the church garden. "You came here searching for something," he told her, "but you've become the light for others." Amina smiled, the kind of smile that comes from surviving storms. "In this light, I found myself." Final scene, the light spreads. 15 months later, Lakewood hosted the Light of Redemption Conference. People from every corner of the city came: Latinos, Pakistanis, African Americans, white families, all sitting side by side. Pastor Williams opened the event with words that lingered long after the applause faded: "Every heart carries a candle. Sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's nearly out. This place is where we light it again." Amina spoke next, slipping a few Urdu phrases into her speech. The audience clapped, not because they understood the words, but because they understood the feeling. Maria stood in the crowd, tears in her eyes, as Joe, now taller, calmer, stood beside her. Derek leaned against the back wall, smiling quietly as a group of teenagers listened to him like their lives depended on it. The church glowed that night, inside and out. And for everyone who had once walked in feeling lost, the light had found them. Epilogue, a reflection of real life. This story isn't the official history of Lakewood Church. It's a story that could be true. It's about immigration, fear, crime, redemption, and the way faith can knit together people who, in any other part of life, might never meet. For Amina, Hassan, Maria, Joe, and Derek, the church wasn't just a building, it was the moment their stories changed direction. The light still burns in Houston's night sky, a beacon not just of religion, but of second chances, of hope, of the human need to be seen, known, and loved.